be the host for today's event. And I'm also thrilled to introduce my co host, Anashwara, who's here with me. Together, we'll uncover new horizons for the students' welfare and success. So, without further ado, let's begin this enlightening voyage at Edu-Ex.
Firstly, I welcome all of you who have gathered here and online on behalf of the Consulate General of India. May I now kindly request the Head of Chancery, Mr. Aman Bansal, to grace us with their welcome remarks and share their thoughts with us.
Good evening, gentlemen, and students. On behalf of Consulate General of India, Birmingham, I would like to extend a warm welcome to distinguished guests, speakers, and participants who have gathered here to attend Edu-Ex conference, which pertains to exploring ideas on welfare, challenges, and scopes for newly arrived Indian students in the UK. The conference provides a platform for stakeholders to come together, share insights, and explore innovative solutions to enhance the living experience of our students. The Consulate General of India in Birmingham is committed to fostering a supportive environment for Indian students in the UK. We completely understand that the transition to a new country brings with it unique set of challenges, and through this conference, we aim to identify and address these challenges collaboratively. Once again, I extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you. May this conference be a catalyst for positive change and collaboration, paving the way for a brighter and more inclusive future for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aman Bansal. Also, as you mentioned, the transition could be difficult. So, hopefully, all of us will get enlightened at the end of the session by how we can tackle this. Quickly, moving on, I invite Anashwara to give you some exciting and thrilling news.
Well, in case you weren't already aware, we have an engaging quiz session lined up throughout this event, with some fantastic prizes to be won at the end of it. Are you all ready to put your knowledge to the test and compete for these amazing prizes? But before we dive into the quiz, let's go over the ground rules and how you can participate. So first, the quiz is going to be conducted on the Kahoot platform, which you can access by going to kahoot.com. Uh, so please just access kahoot.com right now. When you access kahoot.com, you'll see a play button on the top. So please click that and enter the following code. And then enter your full name to join. So the rules are each question would have about 30 seconds to answer, after which the timer runs out and you won't be able to answer. So answering quicker fetches more marks and puts you on top of the leaderboard, from which the final winner would be declared after the end of the quiz. The quiz is going to be split up across the entire event. So we would be having the first question now and more after each panel discussion. So please keep in mind not to close the tab used, because if you close it, you'll have to start all over again. Yeah. Are we ready to start? No. Okay. Okay, so let's start right now. So the first question, how many countries does India share its land border with? Okay, I see some people have gotten the answer right. So this is the scoreboard. This will be the same for the next questions. So please don't close your tabs. So over to you.
I hope that fills in some energy and motivation. Moving ahead, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our first panel discussion. The topic for the first discussion of the day is living in the UK, challenges and the way forward. We are very happy and fortunate to have our Consul General, Dr. Shashank Vikram, as our moderator for this session. I kindly request Dr. Shashank Vikram to come on the stage. Dr. Shashank Vikram, Consul General of India, Birmingham, is diplomat from the 2004 batch of Indian Foreign Service. Dr. Vikram is a medical graduate. He did his MBBS from GSVM Medical College, Kanpur. Before assuming the charge of CG Birmingham, he has served in various capacities in Government of India, in Indian embassies abroad and in the state government of Uttar Pradesh. It's indeed our pleasure to have you here, sir. It's time to meet our distinguished panelists for the discussion number one. I now invite Mr. Richard Corrigan, MBE JP, HM Inspector, Immigration Enforcement, West Midlands, Home Office. Next, we have Mr. Rohit Sharma, Director with Ernst Young. He has started his own business after completing MBA from Warwick Business School. Pleasure to have you, sir. Next, we have Dr. Abhay Rathore, Consultant in Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Our objective today is to gain deeper insights into living in the UK, the challenges one would face, and how one should move forward. Of course, we encourage audience participation, so please feel free to ask questions once the panel is open for question and answers. Without further delay, I now request our Consul General, Dr. Vikram, to the lectern.
Thank you so much. First of all, a very good evening to all our students who have joined us today, and also to the experts who have taken their time out to join in this session. As you know, they were showing before starting the program, they were showing some pictures, and those were pictures of the past student interactions which we have done. So every year we have been welcoming Indian students across Midland as well as north of England, which is the kind of area which this consulate covers, from Warwick to Newcastle. And we have been interacting with the students. However, as the number of students have risen in UK, we have felt that there is a need for greater interaction with the students just beyond meet and greet. So what you see today is not a simple welcome and a dinner. Today you will see experts from different fields, and those are the people who can answer real questions which you may have in your mind. So don't take today's interaction as a one-way speech giving from somebody and you to listen. Just imbibe it and asks the questions. So I have a written piece and I'm going to read it so that you understand the kind of people who are there in the room, and do ask questions. And going forward, if you have any further questions later, we will address them also. So our focus today is on welfare, challenges, and opportunities for our newly arrived Indian students in the United Kingdom, a topic that holds immense significance for us at the CGI. We are privileged to have with us a panel of esteemed speakers who bring diverse perspectives and expertise to the table. Education has always been a powerful catalyst for transformation, bridging gaps, and fostering cross-cultural understanding. As we witness an increase in number of Indian students embarking on their academic journeys in the United Kingdom, it becomes imperative to delve into the various facets of their experiences, the challenges they face, the opportunities available to them, and the potential for growth and collaboration. We have Dr. Abhay Rathore, a consultant child and adolescent psychiatrist, whose insights into the psychological well-being of our students will undoubtedly shed light on the challenges they may face and way to address them. Mr. Richard, who is inspector at the Immigration Department of the Home Office, will share valuable information on immigration boundaries, a crucial aspect for our students' journey. And I will encourage, do ask them questions. If you have some questions like visa issues and home office issues, what will happen when you will shift to jobs? Same I would say about Dr. Rathore. We have seen in last 1 year that people have been under pressure, because you are here not only to pursue education, but you also have in your mind your careers, your adjustment in a foreign country. And we have seen students who have been under pressure, and sometimes it's important to talk. And it's also possible that you have no issue, but you might have a friend, and you are able to understand that that friend of yours needs help. So those in that kind of issues, how to go about them, please do interact. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Rohit Sharma, who is here. He is director at EY, whose experience in the corporate world will provide insights into career opportunities and challenges for our students. Because the job is not always the answer. Some of you, I'm sure, must be having that spirit to establish your own business and how to go about it, something which Rohit here has done successfully. I also have here Mrs. Kanika Arora, Vice Consul at the CGI Birmingham. Now, Kanika here is a counselor officer who works with me, and she is often the first point of contact if you need any help from the consulate. On the academic front, we are honored to have Professor Surinder Munjal as the moderator of the second session, Professor Rekha Rao Nicholson, Director of Internationalization at University of Essex, and Ms. Annie Wilson, Head of Career and Student Opportunity at the University of Warwick. Their perspective will contribute significantly to our understanding of the academic landscape and career prospects for our students. I think additionally, we have Mr. Arjun Lahiri, Director and Co-founder at Casita, with Mr. Leigh Pulford, brings valuable insight into accommodation and support services. Now, the accommodation and support service, we have actually received quite a few emails from students where they booked an accommodation from India, and when they arrived here, some people got a shoddy one, some people didn't get the keys. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted some experts from those sector to speak, at least to know, as you look forward for accommodations or your friends look forward to it, what are the pitfalls, what are do's and don'ts of that. Last but not the least, Mr. Gaurav Arora, Head of Retail Banking at ICICI Bank UK, will share insights into financial aspects and support available to our students. This conference serves as a platform for collaboration, exchange of ideas, and exploration of innovative solutions. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that our students not only overcome challenges, but also thrive in the academic and professional pursuits. Also, this event is being live streamed our YouTube channel, and 6 universities are telecasting it live. So I also welcome all those students who have joined us online for this. The event will be also be available on our social media channels and can be viewed later also, since it's on YouTube. So if you find it useful, do share it among your friends after you go back. And of course, there is an exciting quiz which has already started. So I encourage everyone now to participate actively. What will happen in every panel was that every speaker will come and speak here for 5 minutes and then they will sit. After that, we will have some time, 15-20 minutes to discuss. Now, in that discussion, I would like that you ask questions. Okay. And it would be better that if you ask questions and then we will take them and we'll ask our experts. So for the first session, I am going to be the moderator. So once they have spoken, if you have any question, please raise your hand and tell whom you want to speak. Raise your question too, and then we will address that. So thank you so much, and I look forward towards an exciting and informative evening. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Vikram. And as he mentioned, please do utilize the opportunity and ask whatever questions you have in mind so that it can be answered by our experts. Now, I request Mr. Richard Corrigan to the lectern for his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm Richard Corrigan. As you have just heard, I'm the inspector from West Midlands Immigration, part of the Home Office. Thank you, Dr. Vikram. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity to be here. 5 minutes on all things immigration. Right, buckle in. Here we go. So, opening remarks. I think it's important just to start off with to say how positive and supportive the UK government is of international students. So the UK has the largest global international student market outside of the US. That's something I've just learned myself. So the UK positively welcomes international students to access its world-class leading educational establishments. And universities, they're one of the largest sectors in many of the local economies. They play a vital role in research and innovation in the UK. And in order for the government, economic, industrial and migration strategies to succeed, it needs a vibrant higher education sector, which is impossible to achieve without significant and strong recruitment in international students. So you all play a huge part in the local and national communities in terms of things like housing, in terms like jobs, welfare, employment. And the UK government actively encourages that. Now, what we're about to go through is go through some of the sort of things that we see as an immigration enforcement office that we can give you in terms of advice as being here in the UK as international students. Go through some of the kind of like do's and don'ts, some of the things to look out for, and just do a little bit of myth busting around some of the things that you might have got an idea about what it's like to be here in the UK as a student. So, there's my presentation. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, next slide. Okay. So if you are here studying at undergraduate or above, you may work up to 20 hours per week during term time only. And outside of term time, in your holidays, you are, as long as you are still enrolled as a student, there are no restrictions on working hours. And I think that's a great thing to have as part of your student sort of conditions while you're here. It enhances the quality of your experience while you're here, gives you money to fund, not only things around your studies, but things outside of your studies. It gives you a greater experience while you're here in the UK. If you do choose to work in the UK, please ensure that you have a contract of employment and that you're being paid in line with the UK minimum wage, which is currently standing at £10.42 if you're over the age of 23. The government only announced on Wednesday that that's going to be increasing, and that's going to go up to about £11.44, I think, as from the 1st of April. It's incredibly important that you do get contracts of employment and do get minimum wage, because if you don't, that suggests you are leaving yourself vulnerable open to all sorts of other potential abuses by your employer, be that health and safety abuses, immigration employment abuses, tax abuse. So as a minimum standard, please get those two things in writing before you accept your role within your term of employment. With regards to your student visas itself, your sponsorship can be withdrawn by the educational establishment if you fail to enrol. So if you fail to turn up within that set window that the university will give you, or if you fail to pay the fees. If you fail to attend as required by minimum attendance standards, different universities will have different standards, but they're all going to be around about 70, 80%, I guess. And if you fail to satisfactorily progress through your course, that you fail to undertake the course of learning, pass the interim exams, whatever that may be. But if that sponsor assesses that you've not done any of those things, they do have the ability to withdraw your sponsorship with immediate effect. And that has significant consequences for you as students. The significant consequences is that your student visa can be curtailed immediately if there is no particular justification for you not being able to undertake the course of study. You may have medical reasons, or there may be justifiable reasons, and that's where you need to engage with the university and communicate with them if you are having issues undertaking your course, because the Home Office will treat those cases kind of differently. If there are genuine, compassionate and extenuating circumstances as to why you can't pay the fees, why you can't progress the course, we will look at that case in isolation. And if the university is intent on withdrawing the sponsorship, we will give you a set period of extension of your stay in order to try and sort out your affairs or try and get onto another course or something like this. But if you're not in dialogue with your university and you're not enrolling, you're not progressing the course, we can cancel your leave with immediate effect. And that has serious consequences for you because you must then leave the UK immediately. And if you don't, you could be subject to enforcement action. And I'm afraid to say that could lead in your arrest and detention and removal from the UK. So I think the biggest thing for you guys, if you do get into any sort of difficulty, please communicate with the universities. We can, between us, the universities, and our caseworking teams, work together to support you. But if you're unengaging, the consequences can be severe. Okay. So as of the 17th of July this year, you cannot switch into a work-based visa category until you have completed your course. So before that time, you could come, and if you didn't like your course or anything like that, you could switch into one of the work categories, which is one of the skilled work or unskilled work. But as of July this year, you cannot now stay in the UK in a different category unless you complete that course, that initial course for which you were granted entry into. You're probably aware that from January 2024, you cannot, unfortunately, bring your dependents with you unless you are enrolled on a postgraduate research course. If you do decide to take work here, and if an employer is found to be employing a person without the right to work, they could be liable for a fine of 125,000. I don't think that's right. I think it should be 45,000 per worker from January 2024. And also, if a landlord is found to be renting to a person without permission to stay in the UK, they could be liable for a fine of £5,000 per lodger or £10,000 per occupier from January 2024. Okay, just a couple of things that we do see when we're encountering students in the field. We are in constant dialogue and we are always interested to find out some of the difficulties that international students get into. A big one, unfortunately, is poor or unwelcome advice from solicitors who don't have your interest at heart. So if you are applying, for example, for an in-country visa extension, or you change your visa type, it generally costs around about £800, depending on the category, but that's what we're looking at. So please keep that figure in mind, because if you are approaching a solicitor and they are telling you it's more than that, or they want to charge you, we've heard some horrendous fees, up to £10,000 for, well, not even doing the job, They will take the money and maybe not even submit the application and just tell you, oh, well, sorry, it was refused. Any extortionate figures, please be aware that you might be being duped. Before you sign away any of your monies, please take advice, please do your research. And you've got plenty of people who can advise you and give you the correct advice if need be. People at the consulate, even come to our office if you need to in Solihull, or reach out to one of my colleagues here who have links with the consulate. If you successfully complete your studies in the UK, you can switch into graduate leave, and that's a 2 years extension. Or you could switch into other categories, such as employment-based. That's called Tier 2. What you cannot do, however, is settle under the undergraduate route or bring dependents with you if they are not already in the UK. So that's my 5 minutes, and I hope that just clears up very, very quickly just some of the very common things that we see. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more individual questions out there, and please utilise the time after we've done our presentations on the panel. But for now, thanks very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Richard, for those valuable insights on the immigration. I now request Mr. Rohit Sharma to take the lectern for his presentation.
Thank you very much. Firstly, a big thanks to Consul General for inviting me here. I'm not going to give a presentation as such. I've got a couple of slides which we can talk through, but I'm here more to share my experience. My name is Rohit Sharma. No cricket jokes. I'm still in depression from last weekend, so no cricket jokes, please. So I've spent more than 2 decades in this country. I came here as a student, just like you, more than 2 decades ago. I look very young, but I'm actually quite old. And I proudly call this country my home now. I took an allegiance to the Queen, the Crown, became a British citizen. I'm conflicted sometimes when India plays England in cricket. At Edgbaston is one such time. But my priorities are very clear which team I support even now. Okay, so I've been in academics. I came here as a student. But you might say, I came here so many years ago. What do I understand about student life? Well, I have a son who's going through the same experience in a different country, who's a British citizen in a different country. He has absolutely no support structure from the British government in that country. He's in America. So I quite like it that this support structure is available here. The students know what to do. And he often calls me with things like, so, decades later, the problems are same. It's still home. I'm feeling homesick. I've got too much of study pressures, those kind of things. I understand everything. So I've been on both sides of the fence now. My advice to you, as they say, you take up a job to fill your pockets, but you travel to fill your soul. The time you're going to spend in this country, embrace the culture, learn lots of new things, see a lot of new things. You learn so many new things without realizing, like standing in a queue and not complaining, which is a good thing, by the way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Talking about football and, talking about the weather all the time. You'll miss the weather once you leave from here. But embrace the culture, enjoy your time here. There's so much to learn. I now have made England my home. I opened my new business here, fairly successful business after my MBA. I currently work in consulting. I enjoy my life here, and I call this country my home. I'm happy to talk to you about the challenges I faced, how I managed to get here. I even employ a lot of students now on tier 2 visas as part of Ernst & Young. So I do get to meet a lot of students as well. But enjoy your time here, make most use of this opportunity. And if there's any questions you have about my journey, I'm happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rohit Sharma, for that cheerful talk of your journey. And I'm pretty sure a lot of students will be having questions to ask you. May I now request Dr. Abhay Rathur to engage us with his presentation.
Thank you. Right, okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for calling me. And I feel a little bit better that we sort of lightened the mood a little bit. I was getting scared with sort of your warnings down there. Okay, 5, 6, 7 minutes maximum. Won't bore you with that, but it's just something that the Council Journal is very aware of, and I've been having conversations with Kanikaji as well about some of the challenges that the students face here. And like Richard, I first sort of said 5 minutes for whole mental health. I'm a psychiatrist, so I talk about sort of mental well-being all the time. So 5 minutes is a very tiny time, but I thought it'd be important to just sort of just highlight a few points for you guys. Can I have the next slide, please? Right, okay. Any guesses? I don't know if you can sort of see. I'll read that a little bit. I think my voice will go around.
Give him a roving mic.
Try endlessly. For someone who would love to multitask, making decisions suddenly felt like a burden. Waking up every morning had become a struggle. I was exhausted and often thought of giving up. My mother recognized something was amiss. Instead, insisted I seek professional help. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. The love and support of my family, counselors, psychiatrists encouraged me through those dark days. Through my journey to recovery, I began to understand the stigma and lack of awareness associated with mental illness. I felt a deep need to save at least one life. It was this very need that motivated me to go public with my illness and set up the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation. And sort of, any guesses? Hands up. Anyone? Anyone know about the foundation? No?
Yeah.
Next slide, please. So, the YouTube link is not working. I'll blame it on our techie friend. But you can sort of Google it. Deepika Padukone. Yeah, there are lots of nods coming there. Yeah. Okay. So she's the one who's sort of openly talked about the difficulties she's experienced, and she's working. And now, yeah, I know probably half of Indian cricket team might be struggling with some of those kind of features, but that's temporary. But if it becomes more of a longer term challenge, that's when you need to be more mindful, more careful about, okay, is there something that I need to do? At least speak to somebody. Okay. I put a couple of other names. The old one, Parveen Babi. I don't know if you guys, there's a nod coming here that tells the age. Yeah. Yeah. She had schizophrenia. Then, Honey Singh. That will give a lot of nod. Yeah, lots of people know about Honey Singh. You probably don't know about. Yeah, there you go. That's the age difference coming through. I think bipolar disorder. That's what sort of he said in claim. And I put Manisha Koirala as well. So that's just, I've just picked up some of the Indian celebrities from Bollywood that you'll probably link up. But if you look at sort of across the world, you'll see loads. Yeah. And more recently, probably about last 10 years with social media's advance, lots of people have felt more comfortable talking about it. Yeah. That yes, there are challenges and how to sort of manage that. Next slide, please. Okay. I've tried to sort of put some figures. I think I'll have the roving mic and leave. It's just numbers. I don't know how the quiz masters are going to do. But look at that. The numbers, can you all see that? Probably a little small font. the Royal College of Psychiatrists launched a 1 in 4 campaign. So 1 in 4 basically means 1 out of 4 has had some sort of a difficulty or will have some difficulty in their life with mental health difficulties. Now, this is ranging from mild to moderate to severe, but 1 in 4, just look around here. Okay, so it's not going to sort of go and affect somebody that you don't know or who lives somewhere else. It could be people who are amongst us. Then if you look at adults, 1 in 6, and the numbers have gone up. Pre-pandemic, we were talking about sort of 10%, but the young adult range that we're talking about here, 16 to 29, that's about sort of 28%. And you guys joining the universities, the numbers are high. Just because the stresses are there. Yeah. So just be aware of that. So 2021 survey from Office of National Statistics revealed 37% of first-year students reported depression and anxiety symptoms. Roughly about sort of 1/3 and plus a little bit more. Yeah. And big chunk was anxiety, depression, and eating disorder. Not something that sort of you might be aware or read or hear in sort of the Indian context, but here it's quite sort of common. Yeah, so that's sort of something that you need to be aware of. Academic pressure, financial concerns, and social isolation. Next slide, please. Okay, like Rohitji said, I'll say the same thing. You've come here to learn, yeah, not just your academics. You have decided UK for some reason. Yeah, your parents have contributed to you coming here. You guys have embrace the culture. Be mindful of what you're doing, and that's why feel free to ask questions. I think I've put something in there. Cultural sensitivity, curious to ask question. I'll tell my personal experience. I was asked the question, do you want a drink? And I said no for at least 5 to 10 years before I realized you can have a drink of water as well, drink of a juice as well, because for me, drink was alcohol. So it took me so many years, but ask that question. Feel comfortable to have that discussion. What do you mean by that? And then that will sort of help you to sort of get that experience, which will help you further. One significant difference, it took me a long time. I think, again, I've noticed it's very sort of cultural kind of thing. The address of sir. Yeah. You'll probably be directly told, don't call me sir here. Yeah. It's not sort of acknowledged because within the UK, sir is a title that's given when somebody achieves something. Whereas we are used to sort of calling sir to somebody who's a year senior. I was going to ask you which year you did, so we can decide who are you calling me sir or am I calling you sir. Yeah. So be mindful of that and try and sort of understand. It took me a long time. And even now, my senior colleague who has now sort of retired, I would struggle, Dr. Vyas, to call her Indra by her first name. I still would say Dr. Vyas. Some of those hesitations take some time, but my current colleagues, yeah. So first name basis. So just be mindful of some of those kind of changes. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, where do these things come from? Simple things, academic stress. You've come here, the way of study is very different. Okay, a lot of, and this is something you will feel different because you're coming at a stage of university education. Rohit mentioned about his son, my kids have sort of grown here. The expectation of learning and the style of teaching is very different. Self-directed learning. I had parent-teachers meeting for my daughter last evening, and she's being sort of told, you need to go and do some research. And you would think, research? What do you mean by that? Well, essentially, you go and read about the subject a little bit more, and self-directed learning. So you got to sort of think about that in terms of understanding. But similarly, the other side of it is that your academic professors, your teachers, tutors, they're a lot more accessible. You won't have that sense of sort of fear, or if I ask a wrong question, they'll sort of tell me off or whatever. No, feel free. And I think, again, the mode has changed a little bit. A lot of it is sort of on emails. Yeah. So utilize that option that you have to sort of meet with your tutor and stuff like that, or ask questions. If you don't understand, go and meet them. The universities will labor that point. I'm hoping this sort of links to the universities do labor that point very strongly. That look, we have organized these kind of things, but that first step you'll have to take. New responsibilities. I don't know how, just it's very dull if you don't interact. So I'm going to ask you one question. How many of you have been making food at home before you've come here? So what do you say? Roughly 40%, 50%. Rest of you can do Deliveroo, you can do Uber Eats, but at some point of time, it'll have to be the beans on toast or the or the potato in the baking sort of section and all that kind of thing. You'll have to learn, and then you'll have to go and buy stuff. I don't know how many of you would sort of have enjoyed sort of at home where your mom, dad, or a servant or somebody would have brought the groceries here. Here you have to go and get the stuff, and in the winter night, either you walk yourself home or you take an Uber and then calculation for the money. So those responsibilities change, and be mindful. And then it becomes a more of a juggling task. How do you manage all those kind of things by still focusing on the education that you've come here for? Yes, effective time management to balance study and the personal life. Next slide, please. Right, I've said build a support system. International Students Office or a local community group. Temple Gurdwara. I've come from Leicester. I live in Leicester. Gurdwaras. Absolutely. Be shameless. Go there, have food, not a problem. They'll welcome you. You'll get fed. Just make sure that you go into the bar sahab, matha teko first and then go and eat rather than just sort of eat food straight away. Yeah. But lots of temples are doing that. Local temple that I go, Sunday evening, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. But not just for the food bit or the religious aspect of it, it builds a bit of a community sense there. Go and ask question, and people will sort of welcome you. People will ask, okay, what are you doing? Where are you from? And what do you do? And you start to build that sense of that. And then you can ask, okay, I've got a problem, or I want to sort of shift the house, or I want to sort of buy a car, or I want to sort of travel from here or there, or what. Just be mindful and be open with those kind of things. Homesickness, mentioned earlier on, Mukund Saab mentioned, it's much easier. And the thing is, do maintain that. I know some people might have a different sort of way, frequency. Parents would want you to call every day. You might not want to call for a week or so, but maintain that link. Maintain that link, because that is what will help you when you're struggling, when the challenges are there, that sort of helps you. Okay. And local cultural events, Diwali or sort of Leicester, we had just recently, this time it was about 40,000 people who had come to Leicester. Leicester Diwali is very, so next year, yeah, do come to Leicester. Local movies. Nowadays, you can sort of watch Hindi movies very easily. Obviously, online, Netflix, but yeah, go to the theater and you can watch that. And yes, Christmas is around the corner. My daughter, if we plan to go to India in winter, she's not happy because she likes the Christmas here, the festivities, the feel of it. Go to Christmas. Just that's where you start to enjoy the cultural aspect of what you're doing here. And actively make new friends. Don't just sort of engage in the sort of comfort zone of people that you know, people that you've made friends. Go out and sort of make more friends. Okay, and that's where you understand, oh, why do you eat baked beans? What's the taste in there? Or look, I can do the tadka beans, and you can put some masala in there. Just be more creative with you, and the more you ask, that's where the exchange happens, and you'll feel comfortable. They'll feel comfortable. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Oh God, it's messed up. Gone. I should have checked that before. Oh, okay. Okay, simple self-care practices. It's, you know, we talk about big building. We're sitting on what, the 14th or 16th floor. But how does this building stand? It has got good foundation. And the simple thing about good foundation, looking after yourself, is the simple routines of making sure that you eat appropriately, you sleep appropriately, you go and sort of look after yourself in terms of doing exercise. I know I've put sort of mindfulness and meditation kind of thing. Lots of people hate that, but it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a useful thing if you can do that. But still, maintain that sort of link with those people. Once you have that basic foundation of not sort of overdoing everything in moderation. I'm not here to sort of lecture you, don't go and have parties or don't drink alcohol or whatever. No, but everything should be in moderation. Don't sort of overdo any of that sort of thing, and start becoming more aware of if things are starting to become more difficult. You would get the sense, but then you still need to have that sort of courage to say to your friend, something's not right, man. Just have that sort of, and say openly, yeah, I'm struggling, or what luckily, whatever you want to say. Yeah, next one, please. Okay, so very quickly to wrap up in terms of what kind of things are there to help you. Make sure that you register with your local GP. I think the universities will have lots of support systems, so make sure you get there. And then if you are already on some medication or something like that, make sure you get that sort of continuous supply. Avoid over-the-counter meds or getting some supplied over the internet and stuff like that. That's not a good thing. It'll get you into trouble. Not trouble like the immigration kind of challenge, but you won't have the dosages and you'll struggle with that. If you run out of it, you'll struggle with those kind of challenges. Okay, but there's lots of self-help apps, books available. Be mindful, use them. Headspace is the one that I like. It's a good one. I've recommended Headspace. But in the voluntary sector, there are lots of these. Young Minds, Samaritans, Papyrus is for suicide prevention, Relate is for relationship, Sane Line, specialist emotional support, Stonewall for LGBTQ, Black African Nation Therapy Network, and LinkedIn. I see sometimes LinkedIn, it's because I'm probably a mental health professional, I follow some of those kind of things, but some useful things come in there as well. How to look after yourself, your well-being kind of thing. So just be mindful of that. I think I'm almost at the end. Last one, please, I think. Yeah, so register with the GP, you'll have sort of information. And yes, the authentic sources, please do not take your information from TikTok, please. Yeah, and even WhatsApp University is 95% false. Be mindful. Go to authentic sources. There are lots of places, Royal College or NHS, or go to the GP, and then just be mindful that you're using sort of appropriate sources. Don't sort of go into that sort of rumor mongering. Oh, this website said this or that said that kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm almost at the end. And yes, you can have NHS and private healthcare options are there as well. Some who can afford it, but NHS is pretty good to help and support. There might be some delays, but that shouldn't sort of deter you from going out and asking help. Emergency services are there, and it's just look after yourself. I think that should be the end. Any more slides, or that's the end? That's the end? Yeah. I'll take the questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think Dr. Rathor, Richard, and Rohit, they all have shared their bit. And, I thought it's better to stand up because it's slightly lower. You may not be able to see me. So first of all, I have some queries for them. But if anybody has any questions, I mean, please raise your hand and we'll send the mic to you. Does anybody wants to speak or say anything to any of the experts? Okay, good. Give her the mic. Please identify yourself and then ask the question.
Is it on? Yeah. My name is Natasha, and I study at University College Birmingham. I just had a question, like a general question for like all of y'all, if y'all could help us. Like, are there any hardship funds or any scholarships that any of our students could avail in the UK? Like, even if they are here now or before they could come or something like that, which would be helpful for us by any chance?
Funds until unless Home Office or anybody has it. Your universities, I think, if they have something, you have to go back and check with them. What I have learned from my experience, there have been occasions where even some students were not able to pay fees or things like that, and their universities help them because they do maintain a corpus. And in my interaction, and I have spoken with almost all universities of this region, they have a corpus of fund for the welfare of students. It depends from case to case basis. Maybe Dr. Munjal, maybe Deets also has it, and we have seen things like that. So I think if you are in a problem financially, you should first approach the university. Of course, always, you can always write to us also, the consulate. And if you feel that university is not listening to you, sometimes, they may respond better when we write to them. Only thing is that, you have come here on your private funding, and it is expected that you have money to pay for it. So that is why all this thing of, working those hours which have been provided to you, if you can find work and do that. But I would say that your university is the one which might be able to fund you. Also, there are a lot of, social organizations and all that, but I will not suggest to go to somebody who is not in source of authority. Your university is the best place. Maybe you'd like to add something. Give him mic. दूसरा माइक कहाँ गया? अच्छा.
Well, I think this is an excellent question, but the only thing that I would say is that funding is not the right word for this. You should be asking for support. If you are in a hardship, what are the supports that are available, right? And then, indeed, you could ask for some supports from your own university. There are program level funds. You are studying some program, and your program directors could direct you towards some of those funds that would be available. But when it comes suddenly. You can't really plan. So there cannot be any funding application that you would apply for, that if I have this hardship, then would I get that kind of system formally doesn't exist. But when we are talking about support, some of these support would exist from the voluntary organizations. For example, Dr. Abhay Agarwal was talking about the Gurudwaras, mandirs. Okay, so if you approach your community, if you approach some of these places, I'm sure we have been supporting some of these students in the past that you will be able to take care of for all the kind of hardships that you're talking about.
Thank you so much. There's one more question, but wait a bit. So I just wanted to ask you, Rohit, you said you take a job to fill your pocket. So in this UK economy, what will you suggest to our students? Is it better to look for a job or to become a businessman like you? And what are the potential sectors you feel where one should try now in UK economy? And the last thing, you said you give jobs to people. So where should they contact you? Give him mic.
Hello. So as part of my responsibilities, I lead recruitment for tech transformation at EY. For example, this year I've interviewed more than 130 students. I hold interaction days. I've done interaction days at Warwick University. Uh, I keep going back to Warwick because it's my university. So that's where I graduated from. So I have got very good links with Warwick Business School, Warwick University. I've actually even mentored students just to write their CV and where they should apply and is it a good, because if I work in tech, right, you might not want a job in technology. And you can see me on LinkedIn. I do get lots of unsolicited emails from students saying that, can I get 10 minutes for a coffee chat with you? And I'm always happy to oblige, right? So I might not be able to give you a job if there is no vacancy right now. Market is slightly slow as well. Last year we recruited almost 37 students on tier 2 visas, but let's hope the new year brings better news. Starting your own business, I think you should. I started my own business after my MBA. So I had been in the UK for 6 years. And that's when I started. I started with some friends, which is what I want to tell you. Make good friends. So I made 4 friends, and all 4 of us started a business, which was profitable from day one. And we did it for fun. And it was very nice because we were not in it to try and prove something, but we are trying to learn as well. So make good friends. These relationships you make are going to last you a lifetime. And UK is one of the most friendly countries to start your own business. And I can't stress that enough, how easy it was to start your own business in this country.
Thank you. Actually, I wanted to ask from that, I wanted to ask Richard, when you were talking about the student visa and the fact that till you have not completed the studies, you can't switch to another kind of visa. But once you have completed it and you have got a job in UK after this, and you have this certificate of a sponsorship from a company and you have got it. So what about if you don't like that job and you switch to some other company, or you don't do that job and do some other job? Will that have any implication on the visa? Or like once you have the cost and you have your skilled worker visa or whatever visa in place, even if it was with the support of company X, if I shift to company Y or if I do something else, will it have any impact, like in the case of students?
No, not at all. All you simply need to do is get that certificate of sponsorship from company Y as soon as possible. And then it's just a matter of just asking the Home Office just to swap the sponsorship over. But there's no requirement to go back home and have to re-enter. And there's no prohibition on swapping companies whatsoever. So that is easily
And there's
doable.
no change in the visa also.
No.
There is a paperwork involved, but
Yeah.
it is more of a formality than a whole new process. So when we interview, we ask them, are you on a visa, tier 2 visa? They say yes. So we know that it will take some time. Just get them transferred across. Thank you.
Somebody has a question, yeah, please ask.
Firstly, hello everyone. I'm Kishore Reddy. I work as a Vice President Activities in North America Student Union. It's been an honor to me to be here today. And firstly, I want to say thanks to organizing such a big event here. It was so nice. It's feel helpful for a lot of students for the new arrival. So firstly, my question is for the Rohit. So I like Rohit Sharma a lot. No, definitely not. But I like him, Rohit Sharma, a lot. I call him a hitman. So I think so you are a hitman in your field right now. So my question is, how good is that master graduate students start business in the UK, and what will be the initial challenges to get stable?
So starting your own business is quite easy actually.
Yep.
But the first thing is it's the investment, right? So any business needs a bit of investment to start, and you need the expertise for that business. What is your idea? What are you trying to sell? There are angel investors. If you are at Warwick University, they introduce you to angel investors group. You can actually raise money while being on the campus. And if you have links into Warwick Manufacturing Group, or if your idea is about technology, there are groups on the university campus which can introduce you. But the first thing is, what is your idea, how unique it is? Like, we started a tech business, and I utilized all my links back to India because it was always easier to do it. And in the modern world, you don't have to be based where you work. So it was quite easy to get expertise from India to build the sites and help with the business.
Thank you. That's helpful. By the way, like what exactly is like in India, we can start business very easily. Here, the issue is like with the visa. So if we have like the 4 friends like same as you, and if we have an idea of starting the business same as like startup, so how easy is that, like initially, like with the visas
So
and
that I can't
everything?
advise on. I was already working here. I was a British
Oh.
citizen when I started. I was doing my MBA. So I'd
Right.
been here for more
So
than
there
6
is
years.
right. There is any startup visas for the youngsters like who want to start their business?
I'll let you answer that.
Sorry, can you just repeat that again?
He's
Like
asking about, are
there is any visas for the startup who want to start a business after the graduation initially if they don't have any experience?
We used to, and I believe there is still a category you can apply for entrepreneurship visas. I can say that with about 95% confidence that yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Then you will get more answers than she's giving.
All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
And if anybody else also has a question? Okay, so that is the last question we will take because we have another panel. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for firstly holding this brilliant event so every one of us could be a part of such a gathering. My question is specifically to Richard. You mentioned that from 2021, if you are a PGR student, you could still bring your dependents. Is that correct? So if let's say you are, sorry, 2023, 24 January,
24.
if you are doing a PGR course, let's say a PhD,
Yeah.
you can bring in your dependents.
Oh, I think they already have to be in the UK. But
Yeah.
let me just check.
But moreover, if they're not in the UK and then you do transfer yourself to the graduate visa, that's another 3 years.
Yeah.
So is it a possibility that your dependent can come on your qualification of a PGR graduate? Or is any graduate, say a bachelor's, a master's, or or a PhD, lies under the same category?
Yeah, no, as a sort of in the enforcement field, this is very much caseworking sort of rules. But from what I have presented earlier, then yes, you're absolutely right that postgraduate courses, you can still bring your dependents.
So if I graduate next year as a PhD graduate,
Yeah.
but my dependent is not in the UK, but my dependent can still be coming to the UK
Yep.
with me for 3 years.
Yep, absolutely.
Because I've qualified as a PhD, not a master's.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think I will hand it over in the able hands of the two bright young people who are guiding us. And thank you so much for this. We can shift now.
Firstly, thanks for a wonderful panel discussion. We have had an incredibly enlightening discussion today on the challenges one would face and how to move forward whilst living in the UK. Our panelists and moderator have shared their expertise and insights, to which we are truly grateful, and I once again thank them for their valuable contribution. We also want to thank our audience for asking your questions and bringing much more interaction to the session. And as we said earlier, it's much appreciated that you have taken a part in this, and we would want more number of questions for the panel discussion number 2. As we conclude this panel discussion, it's time for our next quiz question again. And for that, I pass my mic to Anashwara.
Hello again. So it's time for the second question of our exciting quiz. I hope you're all ready for another chance to test your knowledge and win some fantastic prizes. So for those who haven't joined in the first round, go to kahoot.com and enter the pin. They'll display it now. So enter the pin and press play after entering your name. So we're going to have the second question. So that's how the scoreboard stands now. The pin is below. It is 4081633. In 2020, Neeraj Chopra became the first track and field athlete to win an Olympic gold medal for India for which event? Uh, 4081633. So 39 people got the right answer. That's good. Okay, so Ronak is still leading. All right. So now it is time for our second panel discussion of the day. This time, we delve into the topic of connecting education, work, and student welfare. On that note, I would like to welcome our moderator for this discussion, Professor Surinder Munjal, who will guide us through this discussion. Professor Surinder Munjal is a professor of international business at Leeds University Business School. He is a world-leading expert on globalization of the Indian economy. Now it's time to welcome the panel of experts who have assembled here to provide us with valuable insights. Ms. Kanika Arora, Vice Consul, Consular Department, Consulate General of India, Birmingham. Mr. Leigh Pulford, Director and co-founder of Casita. Professor Rekha Rao Nicholson, Director of Internationalization, University of Essex, and Miss Anne Wilson, Head of Careers, Student Opportunity, University of Warwick. Mr. Gaurav Arora, Head of Retail Banking, ICICI Bank UK. Now I request our moderator, Professor Surendra Munjal, to take up to the lectern.
Thank you very much, Answara. Good evening, everybody. First of all, let me thank the Indian Consulate, especially Dr. Shashank Vikram, for initially conceptualizing this. I know that he has been doing a lot of good work during his short tenure in the UK, including a lot of welcome events that he had done. And now this has been scaled up to this event, which brings in so many experts talking about different aspects relating to student welfare opportunities when they are here in the UK. So this second panel is going to extend that discussion. And again, as Anuswara has told you, this very rich panel that we have got include academics like Professor Rekha Rao, the head of career from Warwick University, Anne Wilson. We have the ICICI Bank representative. He is the head of retail with us here, as well as from Casita Group, we have got Mr. Leigh, and from the council, Ms. Kanika. So I would first of all invite Ms. Kanika to share her presentation with you.
A very good evening to all. First of all, I would like to say I am very happy to see a nice gathering full of young and excited faces here. And I'm also thankful on behalf of Consulate General of India, Birmingham. I'm also thankful to our distinguished speakers and panel members who have taken a time from their busy schedules to come here and impart their wisdom with you all. In my role at the consulate, I have handled problems and challenges faced by members of Indian diaspora. And most of those problems which are important for our students, which are relevant to our students, such as how to find jobs here in the UK, accommodation issues, mental health issue, and all other relevant issues have already been spoken by our distinguished panel members. I would talk more about how the consulate, Indian consulate and High Commission, we are going to help you in your educational journey going forward in the UK. So, next slide. First of all, I would like to tell you that the High Commission of India is in London, and we have two consulates here in the UK. One is in Birmingham, which is just a couple of miles from here, and the other one is in Edinburgh, Scotland. And in addition, we have two honorary consulates. One is in Belfast and the other one is in Cardiff. Okay, so the High Commission and all our consulates are here. You can call them your home away from the home. We are all here to help you and support you in your journey. Whenever you feel that you are in distress, whenever you feel you need to need any kind of help, please feel free to reach out to us. I'll share the contact details later at the end of the slide, but please don't hesitate and reach out to the consulate. Next slide. Okay, we offer various services at the consulate and High Commission. These include passport services and consular services, visa services, OCI and PCC. I'll talk about two services which are more relevant to you. The one is renewal of passport, that is reissue of passport basically, and the other one is PCC. See, you're all advised to keep a soft copy of your passport with you at all times. You should keep it in your Gmail account or in your laptop or wherever it is easily retrievable. Okay, so, but in case you lose your passport or it is misplaced, you have to file an FIR, a loss report, and then contact the embassy for issue of passport. Okay, don't panic. It can be issued easily, but once you apply, the old passport gets cancelled. So even if you found it later, it will not be applicable. So that's, you have to apply through VFS. So that's about reissue of passport. And the other one is PCC, that's Police Clearance Certificate. When you find a job in UK, in all likelihood, your employer would ask you to submit a police clearance certificate. And that again is issued by the consulate. You have to apply through VFS for the same service. One thing I would like to add here is once you apply for PCC, in order to avoid delay, what you can do is you can chase up the matter with your local police in India, because unless and until they send us the clearance, we can't issue you PCC. So that adds to delay. In case you want to get that expedited, just follow up. That's a normal process. These two services you might need in future, so I'm telling you about this. Next slide. Okay, these advisories are already there on our website, on High Commission's website and on our website, but I would still read out to you because they're very important. See, the personal safety. UK is a safe and secure study destination and international students are welcome. However, as with anywhere you travel, you should take steps to keep yourself safe. They're all self-explanatory, but I'll still read out. Always tell someone when you're going out, where you're going, and when you expect to return. That's first. Take care while traveling at night on your own. Make use of safe transport, bus, tube service wherever applicable. Never leave personal belongings unattended. Always carry either a mobile phone, change for a pay phone or a phone card. And it is always wise to take note of security guidelines provided by your place of study. Avoid giving any personal information to strangers. That's important. Okay, they're available on our website, but you should take care of your personal safety while being in a foreign land. So that's important. Next slide. Okay, this is about registering yourself with the Indian consulate. Okay, once you register your details with the Indian consulate and High Commission, your details come to us. Your contact details come to us. They are they come very handy and very useful when we need to reach out to you, when we need to send you some bulk messages for to issue any advisory, or in case of any unforeseen situation like that happened at the time of COVID. Okay, so make sure that you register your details at our portals. One is at our consulate website. I have taken the screenshot of the links, and the other one is on the mother portal. Okay, take out time to do this registration. Okay, because then we can have your database and we can actually send you some advisory if needed. Next slide. And these are the contact details of Consulate General of India, Birmingham. You can note them down. So in case you need any help, any assistance, please do reach out to us. Thank you so much, and we'll take questions later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that insightful presentation. Now I request Mr. Lay Perford to kindly come to the lectern for his presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. As you may or may not be able to tell, I'm from Australia. Don't worry, we don't have to talk about cricket today. Sorry. We can talk about that later. Seeing the slides and the presentation so far, I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes talking about my own journey, because I feel like that's quite important. I was actually an international student sitting in a very similar place to you. I moved to the US for a semester abroad. Very, very different culture to Australia. You wouldn't think so, but it actually is quite different. So I went through applying for a visa, finding somewhere to live. I then lived in Singapore, Thailand, the UK and the US. So I'm very familiar with living abroad, having to apply for visas, where to live, how to open up a bank account. So a lot of that experience has sort of formed why I co-founded Casita with my colleague Arjun Lahiri, who's standing down the back today. He's got a sore back, unfortunately. So what I'll do is I'll start the slides off now, if you can see them. So we co-founded a business called Casita.com. It's a student accommodation platform for students living anywhere in the world, coming to the UK, Australia, the US. But our main support services are actually here in the UK. We have an office here in the UK. We've got an office in India, out of Gurgaon, out of Delhi. We've got close to 50 staff in India at the moment, supporting Indian students in their student accommodation search, selection, and booking. Next slide, please. So we've got offices in Delhi, Boston, Cairo, Hong Kong. We've got over 1 million rooms that we've aggregated on the website in over 60 different countries. But as I mentioned, our biggest footprint is here in the UK. We've got over 60 cities covered, and we've got close to 70 buildings here in Birmingham alone. We've got two different types of, oh, next slide, please. Sorry. So in terms of the UK cities, you can move straight to the next slide again. I'm going to move along quickly. I know we're on a tight time frame. 100% free service. So we don't charge for the service. You can go to our website, you can talk to our customer service, you can text us on WhatsApp or on email, you can call us, and we'll guide you through the process of finding and selecting that room. As I said, we've got an office in India, so supporting you from your journey from India, but even after you've arrived, we've got a post-arrival service, and I'll speak about that on the next slide. Oh, here it is. So let's say you arrive here, you're having some difficulties. Most of the accommodations that we offer are what is called purpose-built student accommodation. So they have student welfare embedded within the buildings. They have, a receptionist, a security team, so nice and secure. And not just within the building, if you are facing difficulties after your arrival, our team can still support you. Let's say you're not getting along with your apartment, flatmates, we can help you to move apartments. In some instances, we've been able to help students to break contract. We've replaced the tenancy so that students can move to another building. So it's really a pre and post-arrival service. Next slide, please. So we'll always recommend the best property. We're not engaging in any higher listings because we are it's obviously a commercial business, but we're agnostic in the sense that when we're recommending options, it's within your budget, close to your campus, and the room type that you prefer. So we've got three main hubs. So India obviously is what we'll talk about here today. We don't just have staff in Delhi. So if you've got friends that are still in India, we've got offices in Chennai, Mumbai, Bangalore, and we're looking at opening up in Hyderabad as well. So really from wherever you've got friends, we also work with a lot of student recruitment agencies who recommend Casita. You've probably heard of IDP, the Chopras out of Delhi, the Sukhwani brothers out of Mumbai, for example, with Edu-Ex. So we're working with all these companies who are very reputable in India, supporting on the admission and the visa, and we've plugged in the student accommodation. We'll really give you a dedicated contact person from within our office to make sure that you can continue to engage with us. From searching, selecting, and booking your room, we'll guide you in terms of the terms and conditions. And I think it was mentioned in one of the earlier presentations, there are issues with some landlords that have not been vetted, that are really engaging in not very good practices. So we vet the properties. We're dealing with purpose-built student accommodation, and you will see them here in Birmingham. You'll see companies such as Unite, Student Roost. So we're working with these reputable companies. We've also got a select set of HMO vendors that have private apartments or private rooms that you can rent, and you can book it directly from our website. Next slide, please. So what is fantastic about what the purpose-built student accommodation sector has done here in the UK, they've been very flexible in terms of terms and conditions. So for example, if you're a new student and your visa is denied, with proof of that visa denial, you will be able to get your deposit refunded to you. So this is more for students that are still in India. But in terms of your place, if, for example, your place is not confirmed at a university, if you can provide proof of that, then we can have your deposit refunded. And as I mentioned, if you do encounter any problems, obviously, I would always signpost you to the office, the reception desk that's within that building, but we're also there to provide you support as well, should you face any difficulties. Just as a raise of hands, is anyone living in a purpose-built student residence at the moment? Who's living in a private apartment, a flat share, a room share HMO? And who's living on campus, like on campus managed residence, right? So typically, we can support you, in your second and third year. A lot of students in undergraduate prefer to live on campus. So you can still keep in touch with us, casita.com, and we can support you with your selection as you move off campus. And for any students that are looking at moving into a purpose-built student accommodation, and I'll mention this on the next slide, if you can flick it across. And to the next slide, that's just some of our partnerships. So some of the basic services that are provided. So essentially, purpose-built student accommodation is all-inclusive. So you don't have to worry about splitting electricity bills with your friends or your apartment mates. You've got Wi-Fi internet is included. Many of them have gyms. Some of them even have swimming pools. So great facilities. Enabling you to save cost and also being a very safe and secure environment. And I think the overarching theme of what I've heard today, it's all about community. And to tie it back to my first comment, The reason I was able to live a fairly international life and work and study abroad was because of the networking in the community that I actually built at my university in the US. So putting myself out there, really trying to get to know people, and was how I actually got my first internship, and that's how I moved to Singapore. So definitely great friendship groups, great support network. If you can build that during, your university experience, I think you'll stand yourself in great stead to be very, very successful. So yeah, I'll leave there, but thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pulford. I'm a Casita user myself, so yeah. So I now request Professor Rekha Rao Nicholson to take the lecture. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rekha Rao Nicholson. I'm Professor of Management at Essex Business School. I'm slightly out of county and part of the country. But when my good friend Surinder invited me here to the consulate event, there's no way I could say no. So that's why I'm here. I'm also the Director of Internationalization and Partnership, and I have very strong ties. We get lots of students from India as well. So, it's a good opportunity for me to meet you, and thanks for Consulate for hosting me here. So thank you. I don't know how I'm going to do this because as an academic, I am used to clicker and I have a lot of flying presentations. So let's go with the flow. Okay, so this is my talk today about the entrepreneurial journey of our students and how we as universities have a duty to encourage this spirit among our students. So I'll talk a bit about that. Okay, so can go to the next slide. So what after graduation? So traditionally, what we used to have is students who wanted to come and study in our university, go back, find a job in their home country, or stay back here in the host country and find jobs here. So, it was the traditional model. In the last 25 years, as an academic, what I have seen is students more and more ask for entrepreneurial, opportunity in this country, okay, or also, back in their home country. So what after graduation? So this is, there was this demand, push, pull happening. And, we as academics, we study entrepreneurs, we understand how business can work. We do spend a lot of time doing that. So the next stage was for us to actually then invest as universities to support our students' ambition to become entrepreneurs. So how do we nourish this? How do we cherish this? Okay, so as you can see, the curriculum in higher education has evolved. We no longer talk about just employability, but we also talk about how can our students have global vision, global ambition, start businesses, and how can we as academics help with that? Okay, so as you can see, there are individuals coming to higher education who want to start businesses. Because the idea earlier was, if you want to start business, why do you want to go to university? You don't need university education. But what we are saying is, there is a formal process. You do need to have that entrepreneurial spirit, but you need to think about, the smart decision making as well. So this is where we as university will support you. So we have global cohort of students, and think about this. You have friends coming from, your own India, but you also have friends coming from US, maybe, probably Netherlands, probably Germany. So when you sit down and you start talking about business ideas, your thoughts, you're thinking about opportunities. You're thinking about opportunities maybe back home in the UK, or maybe other part of Europe or world. So what is the limit? So hence, as you can see, we were getting lots of these queries from our students. We are tutors to our students. So they ask us about this. How can we start business here? How do I take this idea back home and start business in my home country? So this is where I go with my talk today. So look, there is opportunities, and this is what I'm going to present to you. As you can see, in terms of data, London, Midlands, Northwest has one of the highest number of loans for 16 to 24 years in terms of startup loans. So this is where, as you can see, a lot of entrepreneurial activities, a lot of ambition in our young people. So thriving entrepreneurial spirit, that's what I would talk about again and again to my students, and I'm going to do it today. As you can see, it's about mindset. So there are two things that we can do. One, to make our students have this mindset where they can think, okay, I'm learning something. Can I apply this as a business idea? Can I start business? This is one way to go. The other thing is, if they have challenges, and I'm going to talk about as an example, we also provide workshops to our students. We encourage them to engage in competitions for VC funding and so on and so forth. So if you can go to the next slide. So this is Essex Startup. So we have this organization which is part of our university, and I would encourage you to go back to your university. If you're in Aston, you're in Warwick, just ask if something like this exists. Okay, so please go and look into that. So here, as Essex Startups, what we do is we offer various ways for our students to develop their business plan, and have competitions, prizes. As you can see there, examples, some of the events taking place where you can see students presenting their ideas. As you can see, we also have competition. This is one example of a student who won the award for Best Sustainable Business that they started up. There is hot desking. We provide one-to-one service as well to our students. So it's something you may want to go back to your respective universities. There might be something there. Just make sure you have these kind of opportunities. Last week, for example, we had the Global Entrepreneurship Week. We had this nice week-long event for our students to come and meet and attend various workshops for entrepreneurship activities. So you can go ahead. Okay, now one thing many of you might be wondering, funding, and as some of you rightly said, where do you get money from now? Now, I'm not talking about big money, okay, so what I'm talking about, that seed funding, that small amount of money that can kickstart your idea. So as you can, these are two examples. I'm sure you will hear a lot of other funding opportunities. So Santander, for example, has microfinance. Some of our students have gone and applied through that process. Virgin has the startup fund. So, there's opportunities there as well. These are small funds, but if you have an idea and you're thinking, okay, where do I get money from? You can put together a business case among your friends and you can come up with something interesting and you can apply. So there are such funding opportunities as well for students, okay? The last one, last time. Okay, so how about starting a business in the UK? As you can see, there are two ways in which you can do it. So the first is the graduate visa. Obviously you can work, but you can also start a business, so there's a way for you to do that. The second opportunity is the innovator founder visa. Now the threshold is higher. Okay, so here your business has to be really innovative, it has to be new, viable, and it has to be scalable. In the past, the universities were able to sponsor it. We are no longer able to do it. But what you have are those organizations there, which are mentioned: UK Endorsing Services, Innovator International, Investor Limited, and the Global Entrepreneurship Program. And you can, send your application there. And if they endorse it, then you are able to do this. Okay, and I'm sure you can find more information online. But as you can see, there are opportunities here. Universities are supporting it, and there are organizations which can help you, banks, individual VC funds, take part in those, and hopefully you will have interesting entrepreneurial journey in this country. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. I'm pretty sure that was really useful to a lot of us in this room. Like, we are business school students ourselves. So I now invite Ms. Anne Wilson to the lectern.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation this evening. If you'd like to show my first slide, please. Thank you. That's great. And then moving quickly on to the second one. Just briefly, why the University of Warwick? It's one of the top 150 universities in the world, a Russell Group university in the Times top 10 Guardian League tables, and targeted by graduate recruiters, which is always a good sign of some of us in the room, and regularly quoted in various high league tables. So top teaching staff and research, tailored industry and master's courses. We focus very heavily on employability support at Warwick, and we have a careers team links into each of the different academic departments too. And we have access to a lot of alumni contacts, which I'll talk a little bit more about shortly. We even have our own separate careers team if you're in the business school, so the Careers Plus team. So business schools tend to be well-resourced, not that I'm the least bit jealous that they have the same size team as me to support the rest of the university, but that's another story. Next slide, please. I will outline what we offer at Warwick, but it's worth knowing that many universities will offer quite similar support. So even though the nuances might be slightly different, there are some core themes that you'll find wherever you're studying. So career support means a range of online resources are available to you. So there's an element of self-help. So universities are big places. There's never enough career support when you need it. At the moment, any of you who may be either studying for a master's or in a final year will find it's frenetically busy as we go through the applications and recruitment cycle at the moment. So it's a very busy few weeks, that first autumn term. Appointments to see careers staff are either in person or online. So we try to be flexible to suit your needs, because depending on what you're studying, you may find it's not convenient to come into campus on a particular day, but we can see you online for a Teams appointment. And we offer routinely a range of different kinds of careers workshops where you can access lots of different very practical support. So aspects of job hunting like CVs and applications. How do you make those documents really, really sound? And we also offer one-to-one appointments. So when you've learnt the principles of how to put your documents together, you can book a one-to-one appointment either online or in person and have somebody, a skilled expert, go through your documents with you. So we have a team of job search advisors to help with that. And we offer impartial, confidential guidance. And what that means is our team of highly skilled careers consultants can offer you an appointment to talk about your career ideas. And it may be that you have no particular career ideas, and that can sometimes be a source of stress. So we were talking earlier about the kind of things that cause students to be stressed. Sometimes it's parental pressure to follow a particular route. Sometimes it's not perhaps knowing quite how or why you want to go in a particular area. So our team support you regardless of the stage you are at with your career planning. So if you're what I call anxious or keen to get started, even if you have no particular ideas, that's a good reason to come and see one of the team. We have access to UK and labour market information. And we can also help develop your employability skills. So we're really big on the wide range of things that you do at university. As has been mentioned already, it's not just about your academics, it's about your whole experience whilst you're at university. So important to make those friendships. They will probably last for life. Mine certainly have. So it's giving you permission to enjoy yourself, have a great time, really get stuck into different extracurricular activities, because you learn so much about yourself and other people through engaging with things not just within your academics but outside as well. We too also offer support for enterprise. So if you have business ideas, there are a team of people that can help you with those ideas. And we are thinking about students leaving us before you even arrive. So it's never too early to start thinking about your career planning. If you leave everything to the final year of your studies, it's a hell of a rush. There's a lot to cram in. You'll be under pressure to engage with your studies and complete coursework and do exams. So if you start earlier and take advantage of the different sorts of things that you can do to enhance your employability, you'll be much better positioned by the time you get to that final important year. We really encourage you to engage with different sports clubs and activities. There are hundreds, at Warwick alone, there are 300 plus sports clubs and societies and activities. And if you can't find something in the 300 that really appeals to you, you can pitch an idea to set up a new one. So nothing is kind of off limits. And we actively encourage students to take part in internships and volunteering too. And recruiters in the UK particularly like the fact that you engage in all these different extracurricular activities. And in careers, our role is to help you tease out all the things that you've learned from all those many different things to present them really compellingly when you're making applications for graduate jobs later on. So moving on, we support all year groups, not just the final years. And we expect you to take responsibility for your planning. So don't come to us and say, get me a job, sort this out, do this stuff. We will say to you, here are the resources to help you do all of the work yourself, and we will happily support you on your journey to get there. So we try and empower you so that you can take the skills that you're learning on your degree out of the university and replicate that. So once you've learned how to apply successfully for your first graduate job, you should have the skills to enable you to replicate that process as you go through your graduate journey and beyond. Many students, and this is quite normal, are worried about what happens after graduation. So you're in safe hands with us. Interestingly, we're collaborating at the moment with our wellbeing service, and we're going to be offering cross-promoting each other's workshops. And between us, we offer sessions on imposter syndrome, on what to do if you're facing disappointment or setbacks, how to develop your resilience, So there will be a number of programs and offers, I'm quite sure, in other universities, if you look out for them, through either wellbeing and also careers that look to support you and make your life as supported as we can do to make things manageable. One thing to note is we don't offer a placement service. So we don't fix you up with placements, but we can give you a lot of support with securing work experience and paid internships. So most universities are well placed to be able to help you with those. Moving on, international student support. We also have a range of high-profile events, both virtual and in-person events that take place on campus to support students who are either looking to go back home to find graduate jobs or maybe work in other countries overseas. So lots of opportunities to meet with international graduate recruiters. We have high-profile international alumni events as well, where graduates share their career stories. And we have a really active number of alumni forums in India where you get the opportunity to extend that network. So we have a LinkedIn group and there is an alumni network that's very strong at Warwick. So you will find other Indians who've graduated some years ago who may be working in sectors that you're interested in. So really useful people who may be willing to mentor you or give you hints, tips and advice because they want to give something back. So moving on just briefly to look at our online career platform. We have a jobs board, so you can look for different types of jobs on the jobs board. And as I said, you can access employability workshops and the vacancies are on offer. We also have access to placements, internships, as well as graduate level jobs. We have one platform, and again, most universities are very similar. There are booking systems where most of the things that you might be interested in coming to, whether it's a skills workshop, meeting employers, booking an appointment, are all possible to do through this one site. So you have a sort of a dashboard of opportunities of different things going on. And there are literally, at this time of year in particular, hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of employer events going on your campuses. So do look out for those, don't miss out, and deny all knowledge of the fact that all this stuff was going on whilst you were having fun doing things on the extracurricular side. That's great, do all of that, but also look out for the things that will enhance your employability. So when you graduate, support continues. India is our third largest alumni population. So you can join the community of alumni, as I've mentioned, and you will get invitations to alumni events once you graduate from Warwick. So we don't like to let you go. It's a bit like the song Hotel California. Once you've joined, you never really leave. So you're always going to be part of the Warwick community. And you'll continue to get access to events and opportunities. So finally, stay involved. It may well be that you, in your time, want to share your career stories and your journeys and get invited to events such as this, for example, to share with current students what you've done and how you got there. Share your network. Do use LinkedIn. Not all students like LinkedIn, but trust me, that's the site that employers use. So please use it because people may find you. You may find jobs that way, but they may also find you. And you can, later on, when you become very wealthy and have those dream jobs and are well off, then you can enjoy giving back. But that also means time, not just money. So the alumni office will be very keen to keep in touch with you for social reasons as well as philanthropic giving. So there are ways, if you're at Warwick or interested, there are a range of social media websites you can follow us on. And thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful presentation. I now kindly request Mr. Gaurav Arora to give his presentation.
Good evening, and thank you so much, Council General Birmingham and Dr. Vikram. It was about 4 months back, I met him at his office, and I was discussing an idea that we should host an event to welcome the September intake students. And that time he shared that we will plan something better and bigger. And I must congratulate the Consul General team for Birmingham for organizing such a beautiful event over here. I think a round of applause for them for organizing such a beautiful event today. So about ICICI Bank, I'm sure how many of you have heard about ICICI Bank back home from India? Almost 100%. Good. So one fact about ICICI Bank, I'm sure all of you are not aware, that in UK also, if you look at market cap, global market cap, ICICI Bank is the second largest amongst the banks in UK as well as global market cap. But as far as the local presence is concerned, we are not that large as ICICI Bank India is concerned. Though we have 7 branches in UK, we have a fully operational call center where any student can call 24/7 and can bank. It is free of cost. Further, what does ICICI Bank do in UK? What is our motto and preamble of working in UK? Is that we cater to Indian diaspora and need of Indians who come to UK. Let it be students, let it be professionals, let it be companies which come from India, let it be companies which go from UK to India. So these are the 4 large segments on which ICICI Bank works on. And how do we facilitate that? We facilitate by on the student and professional ecosystem by offering you your personal current accounts sitting in India. So even before a student comes to UK, he can open a personal current account sitting in India, get a debit card in India, and come to UK having an ICICI Bank UK personal current account fully operational. So you need not. So typically, for example, I came to UK about 5 months back. I'd opened a UK current account in India, and I did not carry a single pound sterling cash with me. The first money I withdrew was at the Heathrow airport. Similarly, how many of you are aware of the liberalized remittance scheme? Not many. So what RBI allows is Indians can send about $250,000, $250,000 every year outside for investment. So your parents can also open an account in UK, for example, with ICICI Bank, a liberalized remittance scheme with account, and your maintenance money can immediately get transferred using from that account. I'll repeat again. So your parents can open a liberalized remittance scheme account in UK and transfer your maintenance money, your education money through that LRS account over here in UK. Further, ICICI Bank also provides a complete education solution through Campus Power in India. So what does Campus Power provide in India is not only education loans, but also finding the course, admission counseling, finding the right partner to stay with, forex services. All kind of services are provided in Campus Power in India. So when you come to UK, and typically, how many of you would have taken loan before coming to UK? A lot of people have taken a loan. Now, what benefits do you get to take a loan? Do your parents get any benefit? I'll recast that thing. As per Indian Income Tax Act, your parents get full interest benefit under Section 80E. So whatever interest they are paying on your education loan, they are getting benefit. So in case you have not taken a loan, ICICI Bank provides complete loan for your education, including your staying charges and maintenance charges over here. And whatever interest your parents pay, they can take a deduction in their income back in India under Section 80. Complete. There is no limit. For home loan, there is a cap of 2 lakh rupees. But for education, if your annual interest goes up to 10 lakh rupees also, full is deductible from interest. It is very, very insightful for all of you to know this. And in case you are not aware, you should go back and check with your parents. In case if they have taken education loan, are they taking this benefit? But this benefit is only available if this loan is taken from a scheduled bank in India. If it is from an NBFC or other things, this benefit is not available. So ICICI Bank provides the service over here in UK as well. You can transfer your loan applying to ICICI Bank UK. Back home in India, we can look at the eligibility and balance transfer your loan or provide you a loan right away also. In case a student has not taken a loan right now and wants to avail, that also reimbursement of education fee and maintenance fee can be done by the bank. So typically when sometimes you are in a hurry, we don't take a loan, we look at leverage our current existing assets parents do and send students abroad, no problem. After coming to UK also you can avail a loan. So that facility is also available. So net at ICICI Bank, we provide a complete highway for you and your parents to facilitate your banking. One large problem which I have understood which students face is the payment of fees. When quarterly or annually. The payment of fees has to be done from India. Typically, debit cards don't work, or the charges can go up to as high as 3% or 4%. At ICICI Bank, we provide completely transparent thing. One, you can use the LRS account to make the fee payment. Two, you can use our money to world services from ICICI Bank and transfer money to any of your universities at a very, very low charge and at any point. We have 6,000 plus branches and online services where you can avail this facility of payment of fees for your universities as well. So this is a brief about ICICI Bank. Once you graduate, once you take up jobs, you would typically also require NRE, NRO accounts, right? Every Indian needs NRE. And if you want to bank back in India, you have maintenance, you want to send back home, money to India, you want to buy a property, invest in, Indian equity markets. Typically, Indian equity markets, BSE has given is the largest returning Sensex in, equity market in the world today. So typically, people dream of investing at some point of time back in India in equity, in property, in deposits. So you can open NRE, NRO account with ICICI Bank sitting in UK effortlessly in 30 minutes, and you will get a debit card across the counter as well. Similarly, you can open a demat account as well, get a home loan sanction in UK for buying a property in India as well. All those facilities are also provided by ICICI Bank. Simply, you can go to ICICI Bank website or call up our call center, and this services of opening an account in UK or India, whether a current account, savings account, NRE, NRO account, taking a home loan, demat account, is available at your doorstep. You need not go to any branch as well. Our associate of ours will come to your doorstep and get it done for you. Right? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Dr. Vikram, again. It was a pleasure talking to all of you.
So thank you all panelists. This was an excellent set of presentations. Now I invite the audience to ask questions. Any questions? Over there.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you to Namrata and the Consulate General of India for hosting this event. Gives us a great sense of belonging with each other. So my question, and I'm sorry if it's not the best platform to be asking this question, but so as we all know that the general elections are coming up in India a couple of months down the line, and I know I'll be here working and studying, but I really want to make my vote count. So is there something that the Consulate General of India is doing, or is there anything that you would suggest for students like us so that we don't miss out on this opportunity? Thanks.
Thank you. I think probably Kanika ji is the right person to answer this. Okay.
This facility is not there. Okay, to exercise your voting franchise, you have to go back to India. There is no way you can vote in Indian elections sitting here. Of course, that doesn't stop you in participating in the process online, supporting the party, whichever you are doing. Okay. But however, there is another thing which I must tell you. As a citizen of Commonwealth, you can vote in UK. So if you want to vote in local elections in UK, you can do that.
Hello, sir. Actually, my question is with Gaurav Arora. As you told that we can avail education loan. So the education loan which you were talking about, is it collateral or is it non-collateral? Collateral loan or non-collateral?
What there are students which have already income eligibility and they were earning when they came to UK. They were filing income tax returns. So we can assess their income, give loans. Two, your parents would have income. Depending upon their income, we can go do loans. These are collateral-free loans also. They can be partially collateralized also. We can give moratorium also. It all depends upon the eligibility. But all kinds of products are available.
It's like I was working in Google
Yeah.
in India, and then I dropped that and came here.
Okay.
I applied for the loan.
Mhm.
My father age is around like above 60. So ICICI doesn't approve that. He said that your education loan
So
will be.
what I can do is that either case specific, I can take it offline. I am available over here. We can discuss it one on one, and I can tell you how to approach it.
Yeah, because education loan is something very important because no
Yeah,
one
yeah,
can.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's why I touched this topic, that it is an important thing to be done. In case people who have not availed it can still avail it. How to do it, how to structure it, I can discuss it. If
Yeah.
anyone who has a query, I am still available after this forum also. You can discuss one on one with me. There is no problem. My team is also available over there backside from ICICI Bank. We can discuss one on one with each
Okay.
one of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other questions, please? Over there.
Yeah. Hi, good evening all. First of all, it's like really good to be here in this event. I would like to thank Shashank sir and his entire CJ team for initiating this beautiful event. So I think the question that I'm asking requires a very collective answer from all the panel members. So having the discussion, taking out the discussion from the first panel, I mean, we kind of showed light on how entrepreneurship is very important, and now Professor Rekha Rao Nicholson discussing on entrepreneurial path. You see, leadership and mentorship are very two critical aspects of going into entrepreneurship, and eliminating something that the traditional way of all the students are taking. My question is, what CGI, I mean, in terms of collaboration with at least the Indian community, can do to foster mentorship and leadership programs with at least the Indian community? I mean, going down the line, it should help, because I don't think any university is doing much to foster the mentorship and leadership program. So just wanted to know, like, if CGI can do a bit of collaboration and provide any help provided.
See, at CGI, we conduct workshops like this and events, and I would encourage all of you to be a part of those events and come and join those events, and thereby you create a network. Okay, that networking is, as all of the panel members have said, networking is a very important aspect of getting ahead in UK. So be a part of those events, come and keep a tab of those events on our social media platforms. Okay. uh, Rest, yes, you should collaborate with your peer group and your university. They help you, your professors, your lecturers. uh, that's how you can probably gain an edge when it comes to
Yes.
you know
And also, you brought up the point of registering the Indian nationals on that particular register. So maybe with that database, we can, try to collaborate with the business leaders, at least from the Indian origin, to help the community.
see.
Yeah.
So if we have the technology, we were thinking of even starting a podcast.
Yeah.
If you feel that somebody does a podcast and speaks to you, but we need to crowdsource these ideas,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get X person from XYZ talks to us, we will like it.
True.
Then we can publicize it and see how much traction we get.
Yeah.
The one thing is that, it's important to come with these events.
Okay.
And
I'm
if
gonna
you
add to
are
that.
not able to come into these events, this will be available on YouTube and other places. Just listen to it. I have been a student for a very long time. I'm a medical student, so the long revision is great. So it's tough in student days to actually be able to travel from your accommodation to there. But good to be connected. And you are abroad, so we are here to help you. But we will need, I don't want to put that event where nobody is actually interested. See? So that is why this format of this event is slightly different. I don't want to give you two speeches and the dinner now. Try to take away from this whatever you can and give us more ideas to organize.
Sure.
I think, and just to add to that, one underutilized resource is the alumni of your university. So many alumni want to give back, but you need to take your own initiative and reach out to them. So most universities have an alumni department that they actively want to engage and actually connect current students with alumni. So this exists. You just have to, chase it down, and you'll find that mentor probably closer than you think. It could be a current employer, it could be, a professor or part of the alumni network.
Thank you.
So let's take one last question and then we close this panel. Last question there.
Hi there. My question is specifically to Professor. So I'll be completing my PhD very soon, hopefully. So, but that's going to be a very different portfolio than was business, sociology, and IR. So, how is whenever I speak to academics across the UK right now, they mention about not really a good academic market, higher ed market that's going on across higher education setup. Firstly, is that true? And secondly, how can you be more looking forward to get more opportunities just than just jobs.ac.uk?
Okay, thanks. I think it really depends on your particular field of research. There are some research field and some schools like business school. We're always short of staff, so we're always recruiting. So I think it depends from the faculty to faculty. At the same time, in academia, it's publish or perish. So get your research going, try and target journals, try and have papers ready, submit it, and I'm sure you'll be marketable, and people will want to hire you. So it's really proactive engagement in whatever field you are. It's true for people looking for jobs, any jobs, and equally true for you wanting a career in academia. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
On by Anne on this particular point.
No, I think keeping your network going, however that is, whether it's through LinkedIn or other means, shouldn't be underestimated. So take advantage of that. And as you've just said, the alumni networks are there for the asking, really. Lots of alumni want to give, don't always get the approaches from students perhaps they expect. So it's a real opportunity to build your network and your connections.
So with that note, because the food has also started to come, so I thank again all the panelists, and thank you very much for attending this panel and asking questions. Now I invite Avishta back to take over the proceedings. Thank you.
I want to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed panelists and moderator. Your expertise and contributions have enriched our understanding of the matter. We'd also like to thank our audience for your active involvement and thoughtful questions. Your engagement has been crucial in making this session as informative and interactive as it was. As we bring this panel discussion to a close, we hope that the insights shared here will be of great use to you. Now, we go back to our interesting and exciting quiz. Are you ready to answer the next set of questions and put your knowledge to test and win amazing awards? So this is the scoreboard right now. I mean, you can still score and get on top. So we have the last 7 questions. Can you all see the questions? In the production of mulberry silk, the leaves of which tree is the staple diet of the silkworms? Yeah. It's the last few questions, guys. So please try to attend it. There are like really good prizes after this for the winners. So. Okay, the 4th question. Which of these rivers flow through India and another country? Okay, we have someone new in the lead. Next question. Who was man of the match in the Cricket Cup World Cup 1983? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Which planet has the longest day among all planets in the solar system? Okay. New lead. All right. Seventh question. Which battle in 1757 marked the beginning of British occupation in India? Okay, last three questions now. Who was the Speaker of Lok Sabha before he became the President of India? Okay, next question. Second last question, everyone. Which monarch sat on the British throne during the First War of Indian Independence? Okay, last question. Who is the first woman cricketer to win the Arjuna Award? Okay, the quiz is done. Thank you all for participation. We'll announce the winners in a bit. Abhay is the winner. Oh.
and gentlemen, a quick announcement. The most awaited part of the event, which was the quiz results. So here we have the quiz results. You can, we also displayed the leaderboards on the screen earlier. And the first place went to Dr. Abhay Rathur, who was in the panel discussion. And when we spoke to Abhay, he agreed that he wants to donate the prize for the person who has come next, so that all the students have won the prizes for the quiz that we have conducted. A big round of applause for Abhay Rathur. On that note, I now request our Consul General, Dr. Shashank Vikram, to come on the stage to felicitate the winners. And the winners are, first place goes to Ashish. Congratulations, Ashish. The second place goes to Bharatwaj. Congratulations, Bharatwaj. The third place goes to Crystal Rodriguez. Congratulations, Crystal. Thanks a lot, Consul General. Great. So I do have one more request for all the audience who are present here. We need a group photo to make this memory, the picture perfect, and put it on our socials. So I will request you all later on for the group photo session, and I kindly request you to oblige. Now, it's the end of our bet. Firstly, I would like to thank the Consulate General of India for giving me this opportunity to be the host for you tonight. And I hope you have enjoyed being in this session today. Now, I request Mr. Aman Bansal to do the closing remarks, and we can conclude the event and go ahead with our dinner. I request Mr. Aman Bansal to come on the stage. Thank you.
Dear all, as we draw the curtains on this enlightening Edu-Ex conference, I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude and a sense of accomplishment. On behalf of the Consulate General of India, Birmingham, I extend my sincere thanks to each and every one of you who has contributed to the success of this event. A special note of appreciation goes to our Consul General Dr. Shashank Vikram for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to the welfare of our Indian students in the UK. His guidance has been instrumental in shaping this conference and ensuring its relevance and impact. I would also like to express my gratitude to our moderators, whose skillful navigation of discussions facilitated a meaningful exchange of ideas, to our distinguished speakers for their invaluable insights, providing a holistic view of the challenges and opportunities for our students in the UK. A heartfelt thanks to our students who actively participated, asked insightful questions, and engaged in the discussions. Your presence and enthusiasm are a testament to the importance of addressing the needs and concerns of our student community. The intriguing question and answer session and thought-provoking panel discussions have added depth and diversity to our understanding of the issues at hand. The quiz winners deserve a special mention for their enthusiasm and knowledge. Congratulations to you all. A round of applause is due for our masters of ceremony who skillfully guided us through the sessions, ensuring a smooth and engaging experience for all. Your energy and professionalism have contributed significantly to the success of this event. Last but not the least, our techie sport, Mr. Tejas, and all the viewers. This session will be in our channels and can be viewed whenever you wish to. Let us continue the conversations, build connections, and foster collaborations that will enhance the educational experience for our students in the UK. And in the end, I would like to invite our Consul General to felicitate our wonderful Masters of Ceremony, Anasura and Abista, for their excellent contribution to this program. Thank you.